Let's face it, guys, President Ruto is a panicked president. He's willing to do whatever it takes to put an end to the protests. This deal that he has made to sabotage the Saba protest is not only a betrayal on Kenyan people, but also a reminder that we are on our own. Saba, a day that should have been a united uprising against injustice.
On Saba, Monday, July 7, we will hold a peaceful march across all the streets of the nation.
But instead, Raila Odinga has taken the day to rebrand himself as the father of peaceful protests.
ODM leader Raila Odinga says he will be joining Kenyans in marking this year's Saba Day commemoration. Odinga, however, says he will be doing so in the historic Kamukunji grounds, faulting those planning to hold street demos.
But in truth, he's the shield protecting the system from the wrath of the people.
We were not on the streets for ODM to get positions. We were on the streets to get good governance in this country. And had Raila joined us, we would be having a very different conversation right now.
You see, for decades, Kenyan protests were easy to control because they came from a few ODM strongholds. Tires would be burnt on the road, some chaos here and there. But the main goal of these protests was to serve as a bargaining chip for Raila Odinga. Once he got whatever he wanted, he would easily call off the protest and peace would come back. But that era is gone. The new era of protest is being led by Gen Z.
We had a despot in power in 1990, we have a despot today. Moi consolidated power in 1990, Ruto has consolidated power today. What then happens if the people are tired of the marriage they are in? If the people want to divorce their president? What happens if the people want to destroy the social contract between them and the government? Do we then invoke Article 1 and say that we the people want to impeach the president, that we the people want to recall the president, and that we want to tell President William Ruto to resign as early as tonight?
They are not all poor, they are not all jobless, they are not loyal to any party. They are doctors, students, developers, business owners, but the unifying actor is that they are very angry. They don't want handouts, they want justice. They don't want handshakes, they want freedom. And most importantly, they don't have a leader. And that is a nightmare for William Ruto, because you can't bribe a movement that doesn't want your money. You can't intimidate a generation that already feels robbed of their future. And you can't call Raila to stop the protests when the youth no longer answer to him.
History will not absolve him. That happened when he was fighting Moi and whatnot, but when the people needed him, he turned his back on the people. There's no forgetting that.
So, as Ruto, what would you do? Remember, even though Raila is a washed-up politician, there are still some people who follow him blindly.
Tumepata taarifa kuwa ya kwamba His Excellency Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga wamekuwa kwa mkutano na His Excellency President William Kibichirchir Ruto.
So he turns back to the only man who used to control the streets, Raila Odinga.
Na wakaagiri ati sasa Raila Odinga aitishe mkutano kule Kamukunji.
And suddenly, like clockwork, Raila reappears.
I've seen Gen Z's getting tear gassed. Kula tear gas. Hata sisi tumekula tear gas. Endeleeni kukula tear gas. Tell them to add more tear gas. Tell them you will not surrender.
After months of silence, after being booed in his own backyard in Nyanza for betraying the people, now he tells Gen Z to stand up for accountability. Really?
Mimi acha nimwambie Raila Odinga. Ile kitu ulifanya paka saa hii wewe kaa kando, sisi tufanye. Wacha kushinda kutuita sisi vijana ati twende tusikize mtu weite. Sisi hatuna masaa ya Raila Odinga. Na mimi nataka kumwambia Raila, you will not divert our agenda.
If Raila really wanted accountability, he'd tell his good friend William Ruto to stop killing protesters. He'd tell him to stop police brutality. He'd tell him to put an end to all punitive taxes. And most of all, he'd caution him to stop taking foreign debt that is drowning this country. But instead, Raila calls for peaceful remembrance at Kamukunji grounds.
So my idea would be we go to Kamukunji tomorrow, because if you're talking about protesting, you are protesting. Where is this protest going to start? And where is it going to? My view would be the road should lead to Kamukunji. And then in Kamukunji, people meet there and pass a resolution.
A single, easily controlled location. That's a clever trap.
And we do not really have kind words for him. Why does he have to get into this situation? He knows the young people have been doing it on their own. They did not need Raila. Possibly Raila is trying to do a catch-up, but it is too little too late, given the fact that young people are already feeling pissed off by the kind of attitude Raila has adopted since the so-called broad-based government. It has been something that it is not the Raila that we knew.
Don't be fooled. Kamukunji isn't a memorial. It's a cage. A place where the government can monitor, contain, and neutralize dissent.
What you're saying is that if you want to remember Saba, then we go to Kamukunji.
Think about it. Why would Raila insist everyone gather in one place? Why would he suddenly care about order when chaos was always his weapon? And why now, when the youth are finally marching without him?
Baba amesema vizuri sana that the idea of Saba came from him and Matiba and other like-minded people. Then you can now assemble at Kamukunji, where the original Saba Day was held. Ni kama unaambiwa, because you don't have a free will, wewe enda kwa idea ya mtu, enda kwa hiyo idea, wewe usiende ati kuprotest juu idea yako, enda uassemble because of idea ya huo mtu mwingine. Anasema wewe akili yako haifanyi kazi, hivyo ndio venye yani inamaanishwa, akili yako haifanyi kazi, uende uassemble huko Kamukunji, uambiwe venye inafaa kukua.
It's simple. Because Ruto can't manage 47 counties that are on fire. And because the only strategy to manage this is when he lures everybody into a single ground so that he can crush the revolution with one hand. And Raila is helping him do that.
Ati sasa Raila Odinga aitishe mkutano kule Kamukunji. Ati kutaifati sisi tusiende maandamano katika CBD.
Make no mistake, Raila isn't part of the opposition anymore. He's part of the very system that we are fighting. He had a chance to speak up. He had the power to stop the killings. But he chose silence. He chose deals. He chose safety. So, when he shows up now, waving the flag of peace, remember, that flag is stained with the very blood of the youth he failed to protect.
And you cannot say Kamukunji is the only place that people can go to commemorate. How about these other people who have been killed? How about the women who were to strip naked in Uhuru Park for their children to be released from detention?
This revolution was never about Raila, and it will not be saved or stopped by him.
My question is, yes. Are we allowed to invoke Article 1 and impeach the president?
Okay.
All right.
They want to make you believe this is about politics. It's not. It's about survival. And the moment we let the very architects of our suffering lead our revolution, we lose. We don't invite a snake into a house where we are planning how to take down our oppressor. You don't hand your movement back to the very man who sold it to the enemy. And you don't stop when you're so close to the real change. This isn't Raila's Saba. This is our Saba, the people's uprising. And this time, we finish what we started. Subscribe.
It's 9:20 a.m. on a Monday. We have police roadblocks. We have police chasing people out of the city. By all standards, that is what we call economic shutdown. And to me, the protest is already a success. We've already made a statement clear. The protest is already a success. Let nobody tell you otherwise. We've brought Nairobi to a standstill.
This is Nairobi CBD. Right now, empty streets, no shops open. This is archives. You see? No shops open, deserted streets everywhere.